The ballroom was packed. 300 guests filled the Grand Belmont Hotel, surrounded by crystal chandeliers, white roses, champagne towers, and enough luxury to make the entire night feel like a dream. At the center of it all stood Adrian Cole, 34 years old. Billion-dollar real estate empire, magazine covers, private jets, a perfect smile. And tonight, Adrian believed he was finally getting everything he deserved. He turned toward the woman beside him and smiled. His bride, Vanessa Reed, looked stunning in a white designer gown. "Tonight," Adrian whispered, "nothing can ruin this." He was wrong, because near the back of the ballroom stood a woman he had spent the last year trying to erase from his life. Her name was Maya Carter. She was 7 months pregnant, and she was Adrian's ex-wife. Maya wasn't wearing an expensive gown. She wore a simple navy dress she had bought secondhand. One hand rested protectively over her stomach. The other held a small envelope, an envelope Adrian had no idea existed. Maya had not come to the wedding to beg. She had not come to win Adrian back. She had come because Adrian had forced her to come, and within the next 20 minutes. The secret inside that envelope would destroy everything he had built. 3 years earlier, Adrian Cole wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't even close. He was a struggling real estate agent sleeping on a mattress in a tiny apartment. And Maya was the woman who believed in him. When Adrian wanted to quit, Maya told him to keep going. When he couldn't afford dinner, she cooked. When investors rejected him, she sat beside him at the kitchen table and helped him rewrite his business plans. She even sold her grandmother's jewelry to help Adrian make the down payment on his first property. "You'll make it," she told him. Adrian kissed her forehead. "I'll never forget what you've done for me." And for a while, he meant it. Then everything changed. His first property sold for a huge profit, then another, then 5 more. Investors came. Adrian became wealthy, then famous, and slowly. Maya became inconvenient. She was too simple, too ordinary. Too connected to the version of Adrian he wanted to forget. Then Maya discovered she was pregnant. She was standing in their kitchen when she showed him the pregnancy test. "I'm pregnant." Adrian didn't smile. He stared at the test, then at her. Then he said something Maya would never forget. "This is terrible timing." Maya's smile disappeared. "It's our baby." Adrian shook his head. "You don't understand. I'm finally getting into rooms where people judge everything." "Everything. Everything." He looked at her stomach. "A pregnant wife doesn't fit the image I'm building." Maya stared at him in disbelief. "You're ashamed of me." Adrian didn't answer. 2 weeks later, he filed for divorce. He told Maya she was holding him back. He told her he needed a wife who could move comfortably among wealthy people. And when Maya refused to end the pregnancy, Adrian walked away. But he didn't know Maya had discovered something before he left. Something buried inside his company, something that could destroy him. After the divorce, Maya moved into a tiny apartment. She worked wherever she could, cleaning houses, answering phones, doing bookkeeping for small businesses. She was exhausted. But she refused to give up. Every night she placed her hand on her growing stomach. "Your mother will figure it out," she whispered. Meanwhile, Adrian's life became more glamorous. He started dating Vanessa Reed, a famous lifestyle influencer. 6 months later, he proposed. The engagement became national entertainment news. Everyone praised Adrian. Everyone praised Vanessa. Nobody mentioned Maya. Until one afternoon, Maya received an unexpected letter. It came from an attorney. Inside was a copy of a financial document. Maya read it once, then twice. Then she felt her hands begin to shake. The document showed that Adrian had secretly transferred millions of dollars from one of his investment companies into a private account. The account wasn't listed under his name. It belonged to a company called North Star Holdings. And there was one signature authorizing the transfer, Adrian's, but that wasn't the worst part. The money had originally belonged to investors. Maya remembered something. 3 years earlier, when Adrian was still struggling, she had helped him organize his first business records. She knew his signature, she knew his handwriting, and she knew the name North Star Holdings because she had seen it before. It was connected to a company Adrian had once claimed didn't exist. Maya could have gone straight to the authorities. But she didn't. She started investigating, quietly, for months, and what she discovered was far bigger than one secret account. Adrian had been using fake companies to hide losses. He had been moving investor money around to make his company look profitable. And Vanessa, was unknowingly about to marry a man whose empire was built on a lie. Maya saved every document, every email, every transaction. Every recording she legally had access to. She kept everything in one place, that envelope. Then came the wedding invitation. Maya almost laughed when she saw it. Adrian was marrying Vanessa at the Grand Belmont Hotel. The same man who had once told Maya she was too ordinary for his world was now spending millions to impress people he barely knew. But the invitation wasn't the strange part. 3 days later, Maya received a phone call. Ms. Carter, yes, we're looking for temporary event staff for the wedding this weekend. Maya froze. The wedding. Yes, Adrian Cole and Vanessa Reed's wedding. Maya looked at her pregnant stomach. She desperately needed money. Her rent was overdue. Her medical bills were piling up. She accepted, but something felt wrong. Why had they specifically contacted her? She found out the answer when she arrived. Adrian had requested her name personally. He wanted his pregnant ex-wife working at his wedding. He wanted her close enough to watch him marry another woman. He wanted her humiliated, and Maya understood immediately. This wasn't an accident, it was a trap. But Maya had a trap of her own. At 7:15 p.m. Adrian spotted Maya. His smile changed. He walked toward her. You actually came. Maya looked at him calmly. I needed the job. Adrian glanced at her stomach. So you really kept it. Maya's jaw tightened. Our daughter is not something you get to talk about like that. Adrian smiled, careful. Why, this is my wedding. Maya looked around. I know. You're here to work, nothing more. I understand. Adrian leaned closer. You used to dream about being in rooms like this. Maya looked him directly in the eye. No. He frowned. I used to dream about building a life with you. For the first time, Adrian's smile disappeared. Then he whispered, well, look at you now. Maya said nothing. Adrian walked away, but Maya noticed something. He kept looking back. He wanted to see her suffer. He wanted her to feel small instead. Maya felt strangely calm. Because she knew something he didn't. An hour later, Vanessa approached Maya. Excuse me. Maya turned, yes. Could I get some water? Of course. Maya handed her a glass. Vanessa smiled. Then she noticed Maya's pregnancy. Oh my goodness. You're expecting? Yes. When are you due? About 2 months. Vanessa smiled warmly. Congratulations. Maya hesitated. Then Vanessa said something that almost broke her heart. Adrian and I want children someday. Maya looked at her. She wanted to tell Vanessa everything, but she couldn't, not yet. Instead, she said, I hope you get everything you're looking for. Vanessa smiled, thank you. Then she walked away. Maya watched her. Vanessa wasn't cruel, she wasn't arrogant. She wasn't Maya's enemy. She was simply a woman who had no idea who she was marrying. At 9:40 p.m., Adrian took the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, he said. The guests applauded. I want to thank everyone who helped make tonight possible. He turned toward the servers. Would all the staff come forward? Maya's heart sank. She knew this was the moment. The servers walked to the front. Maya stayed back. Adrian pointed at her. Maya. The room became quiet. Come here. She walked forward. Adrian smiled. You know, some people spend their entire lives trying to belong in places they're simply not meant to be. A few guests laughed nervously. Maya stood silently. Adrian stepped closer. You left one life behind. He looked at her belly, and apparently brought another mistake with you. The room went silent. Vanessa's smile disappeared. Maya whispered. Don't. Adrian grabbed the front of her dress. You should have stayed away. Then he pulled hard. The fabric tore. Gasps exploded across the ballroom. Maya immediately covered herself and her stomach. Phones came out. People started recording. Adrian expected tears. He expected Maya to run. He expected the room to laugh, but Maya didn't move. She stood there shaking. Then her baby kicked. Hard. Maya closed her eyes. And remembered something her mother once told her. Truth doesn't need you to scream. Maya opened her eyes. She looked at Adrian. Then she smiled, not because she was happy, because she finally knew he had made the biggest mistake of his life. Made the biggest mistake of his life. Maya walked toward the microphone. Adrian reached for it. Give me that. Maya stepped away. No. The room went silent. Adrian stared at her. Maya, don't do this. She looked at Vanessa, then at the guests, then back at Adrian. You wanted everyone to see me tonight. She held up the envelope. So let them see everything. Adrian's face changed. What is that? Maya opened the envelope. Your secret. Vanessa stood up. What secret? Adrian shouted. She is lying. Maya looked at him. Then you'll have no problem proving me wrong. She handed the first document to the wedding planner. The planner read it. His face went pale. Then Maya said, 3 years ago, Adrian Cole created a company called North Star Holdings. Adrian shook his head. That company doesn't exist. Maya smiled. Exactly. The room erupted in whispers. Maya continued. It didn't exist publicly. She lifted another document, but it existed privately. She explained how millions of dollars had been moved through shell companies, how investor money had been used to cover losses, how false profits had been reported, and finally, she revealed the most devastating piece, a signed document showing Adrian had personally authorized one of the transfers. Vanessa stared at him. Adrian. He didn't answer. She whispered, "Is this true?" Adrian's face was white. Adrian shouted, "Security." Nobody moved. Then the wedding planner stepped forward. "Wait." He looked at Maya. "Do you have proof?" Maya nodded. "Yes." The ballroom screens suddenly turned on. Everyone looked up. A bank transaction appeared, then another. Then another, emails, company records, signed authorization forms, dates, amounts, account numbers. The evidence appeared one piece at a time. Adrian rushed toward the AV booth. "Turn that off." But the technician refused. Vanessa watched the screen. Then she saw an email. It was from Adrian. The subject line read, "Move the money before the audit." Vanessa covered her mouth. "No." Maya looked at her. "I didn't want you to find out this way." Vanessa turned toward Adrian. "You told me your company was worth almost $1 billion. Adrian said nothing. "You told me everything was clean." "Nothing, you lied to me." Adrian finally whispered, "Vanessa, I can explain." She shook her head. "No." Then she removed her engagement ring. The ballroom went silent. She placed it on the table. "You didn't marry me tonight." She looked at him. "You married your image." Then she walked away. Everyone thought the story was over. It wasn't. Maya reached into her bag again. Adrian's eyes widened. "What else do you have?" Maya looked at him. "The thing you forgot." She pulled out her phone. "I saved the voicemail you left me after I refused to end our pregnancy." Adrian froze. Maya pressed play. His own voice filled the ballroom. "You'll regret choosing that baby over me." The room became completely silent. Then his voice continued. "I can make sure you never get a job anywhere near my company." Vanessa stared at him in horror. Maya stopped the recording. "I kept that message because I knew one day my daughter might ask me why her father abandoned us." Adrian's voice cracked. "Maya, please." She shook her head. "You had your chance." He looked around the ballroom, for the first time in years. Adrian Cole looked powerless. No assistants, no lawyers, no investors, no cameras praising him. Just the consequences of his own choices. Maya picked up the torn fabric of her dress. She covered her stomach. Then she looked at the guests. "I didn't come here to destroy anyone." She paused. "I came because I needed money." Her voice trembled. "I thought I had to choose between feeding my baby and keeping my dignity." Several guests lowered their eyes. "But tonight I learned something." She looked at Adrian. "Dignity isn't something another person can take from you." The room was silent. You can tear someone's clothes. You can insult them. You can abandon them. But you cannot decide their worth. A woman in the front row began clapping, then another, then another. Within seconds, the entire ballroom erupted in applause. Maya stood there crying, but these weren't tears of humiliation. They were tears of release. The wedding ended before midnight. There was no honeymoon, no celebration. No perfect photograph. By Monday morning, Adrian's company was under investigation. By Wednesday, several investors had demanded their money back. By Friday, his board had removed him as CEO. The story spread across social media, but the headline wasn't about his expensive wedding anymore. It was about the pregnant woman he had humiliated and the secret she exposed. People who had once admired Adrian began asking questions. How long had he been lying? How much money was missing? Who else had been hurt? And then came the final blow. The investors discovered that Maya's evidence had saved them from losing even more money. The same woman Adrian had called dead weight had helped expose the fraud that could have destroyed hundreds of families. 6 months later, Maya stood in a hospital room. Her baby girl had just been born. She looked down at the tiny face. "Hi, sweetheart." Tears rolled down her cheeks. You made me stronger than I ever knew I could be. There was a knock. Maya looked up. Vanessa stood in the doorway. She was holding flowers. Can I come in? Maya smiled, of course. Vanessa walked over. How are you? Better. And the baby? Maya smiled. She has her father's eyes. Vanessa laughed softly, hopefully not his personality. Maya laughed. No, definitely not. They both laughed, then Vanessa looked at Maya. I've been thinking. About what? I want to start a foundation. For what? Women who leave abusive or controlling relationships. Women who are pregnant and have nowhere to go. Maya stared at her. That sounds amazing. I want you to help me. Maya smiled. You're serious? Very. And that was how two women who should have been enemies became friends. 1 year later, Maya stood on a stage in front of hundreds of people, not as Adrian Cole's ex-wife, not as the woman whose dress had been torn, not as the woman he abandoned. She stood there as the founder of the Carter Hope Foundation. Behind her was a photograph of her daughter. The audience applauded. Maya smiled. Then she said, "A year ago, someone tried to convince me that I didn't belong in his world." She paused. He was right. The audience became quiet. I didn't belong in his world. A smile appeared on Maya's face. Because I was building a better one. The audience erupted. Maya looked toward her daughter sitting in the front row, and she whispered, "This one is ours." Because sometimes, the person who tries hardest to destroy you ends up giving you the reason to become stronger. And sometimes the worst night of your life is simply the first chapter of your comeback.